Fake or not, it's something that really triggers the mind.
Online threats targeting schools all across the West. Several arrests have already been made in one state. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Investigators say most of these threats are being spread on social media. We begin tonight's coverage of this disturbing situation with Fox 11's Laura Diaz, who has more on the Southern California students who stayed home this week, worried about violence on campus.
Because since everyone is getting all these threats and all these shootings that happened in the past, it's like I don't want that to happen to me or my friends or any of the kids at my school.
This 13-year-old honor student from Stephen White Middle School skipped school Friday, not because she's sick, but because she's too terrified to go to school after reading multiple threatening social media posts claiming a violent attack was imminent at the South Bay campus this week. One parent showed us the posts, which included one with a black background and an image of a firearm and the menacing words of F. Stephen White, finally up. The Instagram post went viral, causing panic.
As a mother, my anxiety kind of went up the roof seeing my 13-year-old panicking to go to school.
This working mom said that her daughter skipped class Tuesday because of the first threat. She went back to school Wednesday. Thursday, a new online threat. Mom rushed to the school on Thursday, where she found a line of parents urgently trying to pull their kids out of class, worried their child would get shot. You see some of that line of anguished parents here. Several parents contacted Fox 11, stating Stephen White Middle School was not responsive to their demands to know if the school was safe. We reached out to Stephen White Middle School for comment, but they referred us to district headquarters. Here is a portion of their statement. The two-paragraph written response from the district sought to calm nerves and included these words. It appears these posts are connected to threats that have been deemed non-credible by the Los Angeles School Police Department. But to parents and students, the words were hollow.
Fake or not, it's something that really triggers the mind. Like my daughter, like I said, it's sickening nowadays that the world just isn't as pure as it was once before.
I feel like the school didn't really take it that seriously. They just expected us to just handle it on our own.
And that was Fox 11's Laura Diaz reporting tonight from Southern California. Today, police in Tucson, Arizona announced the arrest of 4 more juveniles, all suspected of making threats against schools. And that brings the total number of arrests in connection with school threats in that area to 7 over the last 2 weeks. The suspects' ages range from 11 to 15. Investigators say none of those threats are thought to be credible. And in Prescott Valley, Arizona, police announced the arrest of 1 juvenile today who investigators suspect is tied to a potential threat involving Liberty Traditional School. Police don't believe there was ever a real danger to the students on that campus. Last night, parents gathered at a junior high school in Mesa, Arizona, to discuss the region's recent problems with threats made against schools. Police officers told the crowd on hand at Stapley Junior High these threats are part of a growing nationwide trend. Some parents are asking school leaders to communicate more with them.
More communication with the parents and students themselves with what's going on as it's going on. My son and his friends were very scared, and they weren't spoken to with what I felt was a good time frame.
We have been working around the clock with our partners, Mesa Police Department, to investigate every lead, and we are realizing that most of these are jokes.
Weapons detection systems are being installed in Mesa's public junior high schools right now. The city's public high schools already do those screenings for weapons. We turn now to an update on the Colorado trial for the man who's accused of shooting and killing 10 people at a Boulder supermarket back in 2021. Jurors began deliberations earlier today. They will be deciding if Ahmad Alissa should be convicted for those murders or found not guilty due to insanity. During closing arguments, prosecutors claimed Alissa, who has schizophrenia, cannot take an insanity plea. They argue he carefully collected guns and ammunition and knew the difference between right and wrong at the time of the shooting. The defense, however, says Alissa was hearing voices in his head telling him to kill. Experts said the voices played a role in that attack. Tonight, a Calfire firefighter is under arrest, accused of intentionally setting a series of brush fires while he was off duty. 38-year-old Robert Hernandez was taken into custody at a fire station in Mendocino County today. Authorities believe he started 5 separate fires in August and September. The most recent was this past Saturday. All combined, those fires burned less than an acre of vegetation because of the quick actions of neighbors and fire crews. People who live in the area say they are stunned by the news.
A lot of the firefighters here are very outstanding citizens that they're just here to protect our community. So hearing that was just a huge shock.
I've seen all the fires here, and for somebody to do that is mentally ill.
Cal Fire says Hernandez is a fire apparatus engineer. He will be booked into the Sonoma County Jail on suspicion of arson to forest land. We go now to Southern California, where 8 Orange County firefighters were injured when their fire truck crashed on a highway. 6 of them remain hospitalized tonight with serious injuries. This crash happened last night along State Route 241 near Irvine as that crew was returning from a 12-hour shift fighting the airport fire. Investigators say the truck swerved to miss a ladder in the road that had fallen from another vehicle, and it hit a guardrail, then flipped over.
You can imagine this was a very traumatic experience. It's something, you know, I've been a fire chief for 10 years, and these are the toughest things to have to deal with, and it breaks my heart.
6 of those injured firefighters do remain hospitalized. The CHP is investigating the circumstances of the crash and how that ladder ended up in the road. The driver of that fire truck says he didn't see it until it was too late because there was another car ahead of him blocking his view. People flying private drones are making things difficult for crews fighting wildfires in Southern California. Fox's Gavin Wynn spoke with pilots who say the drone activity is forcing firefighters to call back some of their crews.
15 helicopters are based here at the Redlands Municipal Airport, which fire officials are using as a helicopter base for the line fire. The helicopters vary in size. Smaller helicopters can drop around 200 gallons of water.
Or we have larger type ones that could drop anywhere from 600 gallons upwards of 2,000 gallons depending on their capabilities.
These helicopters douse areas that are inaccessible to firefighters on the ground, especially steep areas deep within the mountains. For Brian Rogers, a helicopter coordinator with the U.S. Forest Service, it's not just about dropping water.
Obviously, we want to support the boots on the ground, and that is dropping water and retardant, both in support of tactical operations, but also our job is to ensure a safe operating environment for the pilots in the aircraft in the airspace, first and foremost.
That airspace was threatened by an unauthorized drone in the area. This meant that helicopters working to fight the fire had to return to base. We saw this happen twice throughout the day.
We ask that nobody has anything unauthorized in the air because it does hinder our pilots and does hinder the aircraft, and at times we'll have to ground the aircraft to be able to wait till it's safe, and so it keeps away from our suppression efforts and things like that.
Obviously, if there was a mid-air collision with a drone or an unmanned aircraft, that could be potentially catastrophic to our pilots and to the aircraft themselves.
This comes after weather hindered air operations.
We experienced a system move through where there was a low cloud ceiling, so we were only able to work lower portions of the fire, lower on the slope, and not up in the higher elevations as they were shrouded by fog and clouds.
Despite the challenges, these helicopter pilots and their crews are determined to continue working this fire where no other firefighters can go.
And that was Fox's Gavin Wynn reporting tonight. The line fire in San Bernardino County is now 53% contained. Coming up here on West Coast Wrap tonight, a glitch in the gaming industry tonight, why the people who helped to bring those games to life are going on strike.
AI is a big concern. They take your voice and they can use it for eternity. I think that's pretty rude.
And in weather, here's our live camera this evening in Los Angeles, Southern California. Current temperature is 67 degrees. We'll have the forecast coming up after the break.
Also coming up tonight, we have a better idea of what it took to arrest Sean Diddy Combs this week. We'll talk with someone about the surveillance video that shows the feds moving in. Tens of thousands of Boeing workers in the Pacific Northwest started their second week of a strike today. The machinists say they want raises and the return of their pension plan. On Wednesday, Boeing executives signaled they don't expect a contract deal to come anytime soon. They laid out plans to follow through with furloughs to conserve cash during this strike. And the CEO of Boeing says he and his administration team will be taking a pay reduction until this strike is finished. The use of artificial intelligence has become a sticking point for voice actors who've been on strike since July. Fox 11's Coco McAvoy reports tonight from Southern California with more on how this labor dispute is affecting the gaming world.
Dozens of SAG-AFTRA video game performers are picketing in Burbank, fighting for what they say needs to be a fair deal and fair compensation when it comes to artificial intelligence. You can see all of the performers out here with their signs as well. This is all happening outside of the Disney Character Voices headquarters in Burbank. SAG-AFTRA members went on strike against video game employers after more than 18 months of negotiations with some of the largest video game companies ended without a deal. The SAG-AFTRA members have proposals about consent, compensation, and the use of AI. There are concerns about companies having the ability to train AI to replicate an actor's voice or create a digital replica of their likeness without consent or fair compensation. We spoke with one of the performers, Zeke Alton, who says striking isn't ideal, but it's dire at this time.
I've had to step away from games because of the strike. Now, it's really important to understand that there are over 90 companies that have agreed to our interim agreement, which has our proposal on the table that properly and reasonably protects us against generative AI. Over 90 companies have agreed to work under those terms already. So what we're asking for is completely reasonable.
We also spoke with Sam Quassman, who is a video game performer for SAG-AFTRA. He spoke about why this is important in his perspective.
Well, 70% of voiceover is non-union. And it's gotten to the point where, video games, they work you a lot for basically a flat fee. I don't even think they have any residuals. AI is a big concern. They take your voice and they can use it for eternity. I think that's pretty rude, and that's why we're out here.
Quassman used to be the voice for Donald Duck and is also now the voice for Little Quacker in the Tom and Jerry series, and he gave us a little bit of an example. You can do the voice and say, make it a good day, LA, or whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Hello, good day, LA. Oh boy, I've been
Coco McAvoy, Fox 11 News.
A spokesperson for video game producers says studios have offered meaningful AI protections to those performers. The nation's top social media platforms are aggressively collecting the private information of their users. That's according to a new report by the FTC, which claims tech giants including Meta, YouTube, and TikTok are now engaged in practices that border on surveillance. The agency's research found companies are sharing far more personal information than users realize, and that social media platforms are increasingly relying on AI to collect that information.
These companies are collecting immense troves of information from American consumers and using it in ways that consumers might not expect. In particular, using it for advertising purposes, using it to fuel AI models and algorithms.
The FTC also accuses those platforms of failing to protect the privacy of their online users, especially children and teenagers. Apple's iPhone 16 hit store shelves today, but there are signs suggesting the tech giant's popularity could be waning. The new phone offers several new features, but one big new feature won't be available until October, and that's AI. The company says the new phones will not have artificial intelligence until next month. Initial reports are showing sales for the new phone are lagging, and some suggest it may take time for the company to start making a profit off this new model.
A lot of owners are actually with carriers on subscription, which means they're going to get a steady state of upgrades. And if you look at it, there's 1.38 billion active iPhones out there, and in a 4-year cycle, they're going to hit all of them. The question is, can you win over new users, and are there more new users out there?
Apple has managed to keep the price of its latest iPhone 16 the same as it was last year, $799 for the base models. All right, we turn now and talk about our weather, and the weekend got started with thunderstorms in southern Nevada. The National Weather Service posted this time-lapse footage showing how those storms changed the look of the morning sky over Las Vegas. A mix of clouds and showers in the distance illuminated the sky with Reds and oranges, really a beautiful sight, and more storms are likely in southern Nevada. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking those storms. And of course, Mark, you have our weekend forecast all across the west.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, the weekend forecast coming up in a little bit, but yeah, you talked about the unsettled weather in portions of southern Nevada. This is all linked up with a storm system, or a system that was up in the Pacific Northwest earlier in the week in the San Francisco Bay Area on Wednesday. And it's been hanging out closer to Southern California. And as you can see, these showers moving into parts of Arizona as well as we head into your Friday evening. Here's the big picture. Here's that circulation, as you can see here, and some clouds, kind of a big ridge developing just offshore, and that's setting up a bit of a warming trend. This was Seattle today, enjoying some sunshine. 64 degrees in the San Francisco Bay Area. This is the cloud cover in San Francisco. Some dense fog showing up here. Temperatures in the mid 60s, and then in the Phoenix area, some of those high clouds, as you can see, linked up with that weather system. Temperatures still below 100 degrees. A high today of 97 degrees in Phoenix. Right now, it's 82 degrees in Las Vegas. Reno is checking in 76. And Portland, Oregon, reporting 68 degrees. As we show you the forecast for tomorrow, kind of the main features. So this is the area of low pressure, keeping those temperatures in check for tomorrow for your Saturday. This area of high pressure, though, is building, and that'll set the stage for somewhat of a warming trend this weekend, especially by Sunday. So here is the cloud and the rain forecast models. We do put it into motion, and you can see some showers moving into northeastern Arizona, into parts of Utah as well. And then it looks like a dry weather pattern up in the Pacific Northwest, and we just have the low clouds and fog, at least especially for the morning hours near the California coastline. Take a look at the forecast for a few more cities up and down the coast. For Olympia, Washington, lower 70s. Concord in the San Francisco Bay Area, upper 80s. So the weekend forecast will feature a warming trend for the Bay Area. And then even in Southern California, Palmdale, 91 degrees. And in Scottsdale, right around 90 degrees for your Saturday. So over the next 3 days, it's a fairly quiet weather pattern, except out toward Denver. You can see those thunderstorms happening. So there's the chance of some showers and thunderstorms for Denver tomorrow, and the chances could be going up into Sunday. But overall, it's a quiet weather pattern. Temperatures trending up a little bit for Seattle, also for the San Francisco Bay Area, and we could be talking about a more triple-digit heat making a comeback eventually as we head into Monday of next week. So overall, it's a nice forecast as we head into the weekend. Alex.
Yeah, looks good, Mark. Thank you. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, new surveillance video shows the moment federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody this week, what it reveals about how the arrest played out. Plus, pushback over plans for a new music venue in Portland, why the company planning to operate that arena is stirring opposition. Hitting pause on your screen doesn't mean you'll escape the ads on YouTube anymore. The Bay Area-based company announced it's rolling out a new feature for its advertisers that will let ads pop up on the side of the screen even when a YouTube video is paused. The company says the update is less interruptive for viewers, but many users already are complaining, describing this as another form of inescapable ads. TMZ has obtained video of the moment Sean Diddy Combs was taken into custody by federal agents this week. The music mogul arrested earlier this week in New York, and he's been charged with charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, and he has pleaded not guilty. TMZ's Charles Ladaboudiere watched the arrest video and described how it played out.
What you see in the video is him walking in off the street into the lobby of the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, seeming like not a care in the world. Had friends with him. He's wearing a black trench coat, casually walks in, and immediately two federal agents, one of them with a clipboard, walks over to him and very politely sort of escort him through the lobby. His friends are left behind.
And you can watch that video of Sean Combs' arrest up at TMZ.com. Combs is being held tonight in jail without bond. Live Nation, the world's largest entertainment company, is facing pushback over plans to build a new concert venue in Portland. Fox 12's Spencer Schacht shows us why some people think that venue would hurt the local music scene.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Prosper Portland's Board of Commissioners approved the sale of this plot of land to Beam Development and Colas Construction to build a live music venue that would hold up to 3,700 people.
A project that will have significant and positive economic impact on the entire Central City, a project that complements the existing music venue ecosystem and the Central East Side.
But many stakeholders in Portland's music industry are speaking out against this project, not because they don't want the new venue, but they are worried about what the developer's partner, Live Nation, will do to the live music scene here in Portland.
There is no public benefit in having a behemoth, predatory juggernaut like Live Nation come into Portland and threaten what we have here with their monopolistic business practices.
Live Nation is a company that's out for themselves. I can't think of a bigger red flag than 40 states suing a company.
For the record, I'm opposed to the sale of this public resource for the purposes of providing a place for Live Nation to do business.
Currently, Live Nation does not own or operate a venue in Portland, but they were the promoters behind the Foo Fighters concert at Providence Park back in August. And while the company is being sued by the feds and several states for violating antitrust agreements and for operating as a monopoly, the developers say they have taken protective measures by including unique clauses in their lease with Live Nation.
We've asked them for things that they have not done in other cities,
including having the venue be open to other promoters to use. Live Nation cannot require radius clauses preventing performers from working at other venues, and they have to utilize the 2,000-person capacity standing area, so there will be no telescopic seating. This would be a first-of-its-kind agreement with Live Nation, but the developers are confident they'll be able to hold the company accountable here in Portland.
We take this very seriously, and what we have said we are committing to, and we negotiated all these things because of what we heard.
And that was Fox 12's Spencer Schacht reporting for us tonight. While Prosper Portland has already approved the sale of that land for this potential project, there is a lot more that still has to be done before construction can actually begin. Portland City Council still needs to approve land use of those changes, and we know the City Council is expected to discuss those issues coming up next week. And obviously that is a story in Portland that we will continue to follow for you. Finally, tonight we go back to Hawaii, and stunning new images of the eruptions that are ongoing from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano. The U.S. Geological Survey captured these images of lava falls yesterday. Scientists say the streams of lava are about 164 feet wide, and they're pouring over the volcano's crater. It's really just amazing to see. The good news in all this, there is no immediate threat to anyone's safety or any infrastructure in that area, so people just sort of marveling at the spectacle of all this. This volcano started erupting back on Sunday, and scientists believe that more eruption activity is imminent. And of course, you'll remember that we talked to you last night about the fact that geologists there in Hawaii are going in and collecting samples of that lava as well as they try to study what's going on there with the Kilauea volcano. All right, that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. As always, we appreciate you watching, and we'll give you this quick reminder before we go. You can stay up to date on all the important stories we are covering across the West at our website. That's westcoastwrap.com. And you can stream all of our shows by using your smart TV. All you need to do is download the free Fox Local app. Have a great weekend and a great night.